Hello, toy friends. Welcome back. I'm Will, and this is the 1-8 team. How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all prepared to be amazed because, well, I don't know. It might be amazing. Well, it's going to get a little better right now with Jim Largo. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Will. I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good, good. I know you had a pretty interesting week. I learned a little bit. If you haven't seen it yet, Jim released his I don't want to mess up the title. It was the
Joe's Toy Trivia Adventures, and
that's right.
Joe is investigating the Toy Hall of Fame, going through the list.
And we learned a little bit about teddy bears this week. A lot of great stuff there. If you haven't seen that video yet, and you're always wondering, what's the history of that fuzzy critter in the corner? Tim's got you covered. There's a link in the description below. And I did find out something about teddy bears that I was not aware of after watching your video. So we're going to watch this quick clip. I hope you could hear it because I think the audio.
The fountain is located in the darkest, most ancient region of space, just past Teddy Bear Junction.
Teddy Bear Junction, the worst scum hole in the galaxy.
Did you know that Teddy Bear Junction is the worst scum hole in the galaxy? Oh, we lost Jim. Uh-oh. Well, I know the video clip wasn't great, but I don't think it was that bad. But yeah, love Futurama. And I was watching an episode after watching Jim's Teddy Bear episode, and they had to travel to the darkest reaches of outer space, right past Teddy Bear Junction, which is often referred to as the worst scum hole of the galaxy. So I don't know. Well, Jim got disconnected. Probably Eduardo at work there got jealous of the teddy bear talk. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at today's show and talk a little bit about that. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, why don't we say hi to chat? I'm scrolling up here. Scott, how are you? Scott's here. Largo's in the chat. Look at this guy. He showed up too. Epic Badger. So much Amaze. Yep. Prepare to be amazed. GOJITRON here. How you doing, buddy? We've got a world made of cardboard. Howdy. Schmodulok. Who else is here? Mr. Ian Sweeney. How you doing, buddy? Always good to see you. Starboy Station in the house. How's it going, pal? Appreciate you. Frontline, what's happening, my friend? We got Outer Multiverse. Brian, how are you? TJC in the house. What's up, TJC? Boba Hicks. How's it going, buddy? Josiah, how are you? Yes. We are going to get into that. TJC, anyone else here? Nope. Everyone else is here. So let's get into it. We're going to have a gay old time today, guys. We're talking the 1-8 team with Will and Largo when he gets back. And you, Jeremy, how are you? So yeah, today's a little Ba Weep Grana with Ninny-Bon. Yes, Energon goodies for all. A yabba dabba do time. So yeah, we're going to talk about Gay Toys Incorporated. They did change their names, their name in the late 80s to American Plastics Manufacturing Corp or something like that. So, we'll refer to them as that for now and then use their new name later. We've got an O-ring update. Hi, a Major Blood. We're going to touch base on the mech contest, talk a little Chap Mei. A little bit about playsets. I might not go into that. I'll ask you guys what you think about it. And then some community contributions. So without further ado, Gay Toys Inc. Okay, guys. You might not have known this, but Gay Toys is still around and kicking. They're American Plastic Toys Incorporated now, changing their name back in the 80s. So they were first around in 1962. American Plastic Toys. They've been making fun and safe toys in the United States since 1962. Blah, 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 blah. You can read much more on their website. Hey, Jim, welcome back.
I swear, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Karma
No,
or
Scott.
something.
American Plastic Toys are not made in China. They're made in America. So, yeah. Here we go. So, yeah. You definitely want to include the ink, guys. Let me just pull this down. So, because I had to do a little bit of research for this show, and I'll explain how it all came about. But yeah, always type Gay Toys Ink. Don't leave it off and hope for the algorithm to help you out there, because you're going to be getting something totally different. If that's your thing, that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you don't want that, you don't want to leave off the Gay Toys Inc. there when searching for these products. So yes, where were we? So yeah, none of their. So basically, they source most of. They use some imported components, but it only makes up 9% of their entire product line. So they still do all the manufacturing here in the United States to this day. Someone in the comments earlier mentioned that these are like beach toys, most of them. So like the pail and bucket set, the same plastic. You're going to find that, a lot of the toys were made out of like that same type of plastic. A lot of times these toys weren't even boxed. They were just in like a plastic netting, like you get with produce or something, with like a card stapled on top. So this is from their website. These are some of the vehicles that they offer now. And I only pulled up the vehicles as they pertain to 1/18 scale toys. They also make a wide variety of, wiffle ball bats, sports things, frisbees, beach toys, and other stuff. And if you're interested, you can go take a look. But, you could see that their vehicles have gotten more kind of kiddish, and less licensed vehicles or something than what we're used to. Here's some of the vehicles currently being produced. And they're sold on at all these retailers. As a matter of fact, Big Lots is where I found most of mine, and I've seen a bunch of them at Walmart. These toys in particular caught my eye at Big Lots a few years back, because these all absolutely fit 1/18 scale figures perfectly. They're great. And I found them at Big Lots for, I think at the end of summer, for clearance, and they were like $1 each. So I bought like all of them. I bought like 15 of them or something like that. And I had this big old box. And back then I wasn't into YouTube or anything. And this is like 2019, I think. So I actually was on the G.I. Joe message boards or Facebook group. And I said, hey, if anyone wants to customize these, they might be cool for Joe's. Send me a message and I'll send you one, and then we'll have a little contest. And 3 people heeded the call and were interested. And these are the 3 results they had. We did a little contest. The first one was Castle Bro Skull. He's actually on Instagram, and there's a link to his Instagram. He does customs and commission work. A real nice guy. And really enjoyed his submission, which you could see some of his things. So you could send him a toy and he'll jazz it up for you.
Cool.
Mace, how are you? And yes, we are going to get to those. Let's do. And I think MCR also. Hi, how are you? So yeah, Castle Broskull doing some cool work. He did this where he made like a little swamp boat and had Crocmaster being eaten by a crocodile. So that was a really nice custom he submitted. Kind of sick, but cool. This is another one that someone did, a Cobra themed one. And then the winner of that contest, and I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could. If he watches, I'm sorry. Was this one, which was based on the Cobra Moray hydrofoil. And he did like a companion speedboat to it. This won the contest. This got the most votes. It was a G.I. Joe group. So, but yeah, I think he did a really sweet job of matching the classic Cobra colors there. So yeah, there's a lot you could do with these little $1 boats, which leads me to the question, since I have like a box of these somewhere, any interest in doing this again? What do you think, guys? I hate shipping stuff, but I would do it. If anyone was interested in it, I'll send you a boat. You jazz it up, you send me the pictures back, and we could have a little fun. Maybe we do that after the mech contest concludes. I'll tell you what, leave me a comment if you'd like to do it. And not here in the live, but like leave a comment to the video below, and we'll work something out. That way I could gauge interest, if someone's interested. So let's talk a little bit. Jim, you ever have any of these toys when you were a kid?
I did. We were frequent shoppers at Kmart, and I remember, every time we'd go to do whatever shopping as a family, I'd always beeline for the toy aisle, and you could always find these kinds of vehicles. I didn't actually know the name of the company as a kid, but I knew the product. They did a kind of an Army helicopter I remember picking up because it was totally compatible with, other stuff I had. The laser line has been mentioned. We'll get to that in a minute. That one, probably one of the more popular of the bunch they did. But they were kind of all over the place, from just generic cars and trucks to, some off-brand Army kind of stuff. They did some neat bits, and they were always really affordable. And if you were into the core, which was also usually found at Kmart, totally compatible with the core guys. So,
yeah. Well, my childhood experience is almost identical. Kmart kid all the way. That's what we had close to us, and that's where we'd go shopping. Mom would cut off that way. We'd all beeline for that toy aisle. And, you might not always get a toy when you went to Kmart, but if you picked one of these, you were more likely to get it because it was very, very cheap. But what I'm going to say is, with this this company and these kind of knockoff toys that we saw, I saw a lot of people have personal experiences. So if you guys want to go ahead and put those in chat as we go through the slides and we talk about some of these, because there's some here that I never knew existed. There are some that are very familiar to us. Some of them have been mentioned in the chats already. What we'll do is maybe star them, and then when we get to the end of the slides, we'll go back and talk about people's experiences with them. So what we got here is just some. I went on the internet and, I did the work for you guys. I typed Gay Toys Inc. in, and I rolled with whatever showed up. And I pulled some of the best examples I could find. Now, some of these, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not entirely obvious what scale they are. So some of them I omitted, but they might have been. I may have included some in here that are off, but most of them were about that 1/18 scale. This pizza van, for example, just looked cool. And they always had because they didn't have working doors because they were, kind of cheaply made, and they would give you a big open sunroof so you could shove a figure down in there. But if you look at some of the pictures, they always cut a hole in the wheel well for the figure's legs to go into. So they were definitely intended to be used with, your 4-inch scale figures.
Yeah, what I thought was fun with a lot of these, like you say, they didn't make figures, but they tried to make their stuff compatible with figures that were on the market from other lines. But you'd see the exact same vehicle from year to year. They would change the color of the plastic. They put a different sticker on it, whatever was popular that year, Flower Power or
this could have been
or whatever.
A news van the next year or something else. They did make figures at one point with some of the lines, and they look like a lot like Fisher Price Adventure People. And I have a picture of them. They're kind of like, I think they may have just copied Fisher Price Adventure People, to tell you the truth, because they look very much like them. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I got to tell you, looking at some of these, and I included the prices on some of these because these really weren't made to last, but some of them did, and they're still in pretty good condition. But the prices are a little steep, I'd say, not for everyone. I was able to pick some up at very affordable prices, even if they had a little bit of damage or whatnot, because I don't mind that. But they're a little overpriced, in my opinion, on some of these. So I didn't know this. They did some license deals. They had the Cal Yarborough racing team where they had the stock car, the Hardee's stock car. So look, they stuffed a bunch of stickers on it. And that's a really cool set there. You get the truck, trailer, race car, very reminiscent of what they're doing like at the Walmart car aisle now, where you could get like those adventure, I think they're called Adventure Force sets with the pickup truck and everything. Those are made a little sturdier, but these were much more affordable. Yeah, JLS, so happy to see you, man. Love the comic reviews. Love JLS's channel. Let's see. So that's a cool one. I really like this one. This is an official pace car from one of the races. So I guess these were put out like as promotional items. They maybe did the official pace car to a race, and usually this telltale sign that it was for action figures is the hole in the roof. That was the
Right.
quick and easy, quick and dirty way. And you can see this one was $20. That's not bad, but when you're paying $8 shipping, you're paying almost $30 for it. So you got to like really have an attachment to it,
Yeah,
were
considering
cheap and
this was
affordable.
this was less than a $5 toy when it was
Yeah.
released.
So if this was like cheap and affordable, like I would say this would be cool to repaint and try and make like a 118 mask vehicle out of, because this is kind of like the Thunderhawk or whatever, Jeff Morris, hi, how are you? Welcome. So yeah. And if you guys see one that you had as a kid, because I never knew about like the cars, like the Yarborough racing, I never saw that one. Never saw this one. I saw this this sweet racing pickup truck here, this sporty blue plastic 4x4. This thing's awesome. I just think it's so cool looking. Reminds me of like, totally 80s. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And there's something to be said for less is more. One thing I liked about these was they didn't have a lot of fidgety bits that could break and fall off. They're very simple construction, and they could kind of go with whatever toys you had in that scale. So
and
they're fun.
This is like the opposite of a Tonka truck, where those things were like made to withstand a nuclear holocaust. And, these were good for a summer, day at the beach, and you didn't have to worry if you broke it or something.
Right.
Now this one's great too. This was they had some really good Fox Body Mustang stuff. If you're into the Fox Body Mustangs, this one had T-tops, which made it pretty sweet, and the ground effects there in the front. I saw a lot of different Mustangs. So this one's good for $12.99. Sweet deal. I'd pick it up for about that. I think when they get up to like the $20+ range, I'm kind of, it's a little too much to spend on it. If I found these at a garage sale or something, I'd buy them all up if they were cheap. But just to make great props for your background, great use for that. But yeah, here's like, and I think this one I picked because it just shows how plain some of them can be as well. You can see this is just a very, even in the inside of the door there, you could say there's like no details there. It's just really a shell on wheels, and I think I'll show the bottom of some of them, and they really were just two wheels, a metal axle, and it clipped into the bottom, and that was it. So these were made with like virtually no moving parts, and even their connectors were just plastic tabs that snapped into each other. So super easy to produce, but there are some details there. I love this one, this Fox Body Fastback Mustang here. That's really nice. But yeah, $25. I think they're nostalgia pricing this for the car nerds.
Yeah.
This one maybe I wasn't sure, because they also made like 1/24th scale cars and also Barbie size cars. So this could be one that I picked that's not a true 1/18 scale. You can see the top is also sealed, so I don't know how you'd get a vehicle in there or a figure in there.
I kind of agree with Badger. Simpler can be better because it's a blank canvas. It'll go with anybody. If you wanted to customize it, you could do whatever you want. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, these rolled pretty well too. I remember doing, making a ramp down the stairs and, sending these things flying off a piece of plywood in my driveway or whatnot,
Those are fun.
There was this one, it's like a police helicopter one, and I wasn't sure if that canopy opened and you could put like an action figure in it, but we'll see in a couple slides. It is. Yeah, so I don't remember seeing this one.
I remember this one in several different colors. It's just depended on what year they were producing it, but it was always the same mold.
Oh, Pizza Van. I guess I loved it so much I put it in here twice. Pizza Van again, everyone. So yeah, you can see that they did get licensed though. You can see that's clearly a Camaro. We've got the Jeep CJ7. They even had the Renegade stickers on the front. This one obviously damaged. The reason I took that picture of the blue one there is because you see the roll bar fell apart. My dad had an ingenious fix back in the day, and that was he heated up a butter knife, and he kind of melted it back together. Like he took a really got it red hot, put it against like the roll bar, and then put it against the frame and kind of stuck it back together, and it held. And I thought that was just a neat little trick to getting it fixed back in the day, and got that windshield frame back on there. But I do remember breaking mine in that exact same spot.
It seems like they were always chasing trends. Whatever was a popular car, either in a television show or just in general pop culture. So the Jeep was definitely a big one. The vans, they did a couple different vans. So they would always try to get a model body shape that was of something that was popular at the time. So a lot of 80s.
And I'm wondering if they paid like a licensing fees for this, or back then car companies might have just been like, oh, you're promoting our car brand or something, and happy to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume there wasn't much licensing going on back then, unless it was a brand name that they were really trying to push. But
I even found because they did get some deals. Like this one was the Florida Highway Patrol. I think they did a thing in the 80s where they got a bunch of Mustang cop cars. They were Highway Patrol cop cars. So you can see this one's branded for that. And then this one was an ambulance. It's a county hospital, but this one came in a box with stickers and accessories and a lot of extra parts. So I thought that one was pretty cool that they did do kind of a little higher tier of vehicle. I guess these were just made to order if someone wanted them, or
it might depend on the retailers too. I'm sure with Kmart and some of the other bigger stores, they would probably pitch to them this year we could do a deluxe with this or that. So because you'd always see every year or every season there'd be something a little different offered.
Yeah. And this looks just like that other Ford truck that we saw earlier, but this one has stickers applied and a roll bar and some lights on the back. So, they reconfigured them and added some details. Here's one that was made for as a police car, but you could see that the body on that is the same as the General Lee. That's a Dodge Charger, right? So,
yep.
And then I did take this picture from Wheeljack's Lab. They're actually a great eBay seller. They have a toy store somewhere, but I've actually bought stuff from Wheeljack's Lab before, and they always have that in their pictures, so I left it in there. So, they had some cool stuff. And they also did some funny stuff too, because in this next slide, you're going to see maybe when the license ran out, they were like, how can we keep the momentum? They did this one. It's like a Ford Pinto with a flag on the side, right? And this was on an eBay listing, and he showed a picture of the underside of it, and it says, "Please note, this product is not sponsored by, licensed by, or connected with the producer of any current television program."
I love, in quotes, nice.
Yeah. What a disclaimer to stick on the bottom of your toy, that it's not affiliated with the so funny, man. That's pretty funny. So yeah, that's and then here we go. That's that same chopper now that we saw in orange back a couple slides ago. It's called the Turbo Hawk, and this thing is popular, and I couldn't find a lot of pictures. These were just eBay listings, so I just grabbed the photos from it. I did see that there's some threads on some of the forums, like the G.I. Joe forums, but I didn't want to go in there and pull any pictures because, people get weird about that. But here's the Turbo Hawk, and you could see it included a figure or even 2 figures, maybe. But those missiles look very similar to like G.I. Joe missiles. You know, they're definitely going for that. And then thanks to someone in the comments, I didn't even know about this one. They mentioned it, so then I searched it and I was able to find it. But they did F-15 fighter jets with pilots. And these are really expensive. These are like $50. You can't even touch them. And I couldn't even find a lot of complete listings on eBay for these. Most of the ones I found, as you're going to see, they did many different colors. But really decent details on the sculpt. You know, obviously it's that lightweight beach bucket plastic. That was a complete one. These are the ones I saw on eBay. But you see that nice black and orange. That's like Night Force colors. It looks pretty good. Had some wheels on the bottom. This one here. Once again, I thought this one was good because you can see the cockpit. They even tried to. It looks like there's some kind of instruments or something like molded into the cockpit there. But yeah, those canopies are weak. That clear plastic that they used was much more brittle than the rest of the ship, and they're always broken because I couldn't find a complete one on there. So here are some of the drivers, and you can see they're not exactly adventure people, but look at the construction.
Very similar.
Very similar, you know, and they would throw these in there. Here, like the space pilots, and they would throw them in there. And they're, I think in the one listing, they said they were 5.25 inches. They're not, though. They were like 3 3/4 inch. I don't think they were 5 inches. Although they might have done other size figures. I'm not sure, but mine were definitely a little shorter than a G.I. Joe. They might have even been like 3.5 inches.
Yeah, I didn't remember that they had even done figures. Action Figs pointed out when we did the Fisher Price show with who was on the show with us? Scuba and
Jeff.
Ed.
Oh, Ed.
It was Ed, yeah. And we did cover that there was a Fisher Price Adventure People jet very similar to that, but it was definitely a much more expensive piece. These the gay toy versions were real inexpensive and plentiful for a season, you know.
Oh yeah, most cases these weren't even boxed. They were just like in a big tray at the bottom of the shelf, and you just pick them up out of it. You know, like they didn't even have packaging.
They really.
So you could pick up the figures if you want it complete. This is the one that I was going to say everyone will recognize because this is the helicopter everyone had. And if you didn't have it, I can't even imagine it because this was like definitely put in right next to the G.I. Joe thing. And this thing was super cheap. I had this. My friends had this. Like this chopper, I actually hated this chopper. But the reason I hated it was because you'd sit the guys in it, right? And that canopy was so big, they would just rattle around. They would never stay in place. Like they would just... So it always like you'd always have to lift it up and like reseat them, and then they like there was nothing holding them, so they were just that's what kind of annoyed me about it. But yeah, this thing was around forever. This is probably one of their more memorable toys, and you can pick it up for pretty inexpensive because this one was plentiful. They're not very rare. You see them; there's tons of them on there. But yeah, it did its job though for the price, you know, and they had a Jeep, perfectly serviceable military Jeep, worked just fine. You know, it was no vamp, but it did all right. And the scale wasn't perfect. Some of your figures were kind of swimming in these things. You know, they would fit, but you could tell it was too big for them. But it wasn't bad, especially when you see the price this thing was new. This one has a sticker on the bottom, and this gives you a good idea of their construction. You can see there's just 2 tabs and the metal axle snapped in, but this had a Kmart sticker for $1.48. When I was a kid, G.I. Joe figures were like $2.50 when I first started collecting them, like in '82, like maybe even like $2.30 or something, you know. So for almost half the price of a G.I. Joe figure, you could have a Jeep is a pretty good deal, you know. but this thing was, I think, what, one solid piece? Maybe it's two pieces that click together and like an upper bottom, and then the wheels snap on. And
Right.
they were pumping these out. So let's take a look at what some of the people were saying in chat about some of these. Those are more of the things. We're going to go into Laser Force next because that's kind of just where this whole thing started. So any good comments on anything we discussed so far?
Indeed. Beta Ray was saying, if you're going to copy any line, Adventure People is definitely some good ones to
Yeah,
copy.
it is. Yeah, definitely.
So we were saying hi to Jeff Popson. Yep, World Made of Cardboard remembers that attack helicopter in different colors. Blue and green is the one he remembers. I remember seeing it in that the black and red.
Yeah, that orange was pretty ugly, and that could be why it survived, because no one wanted to play with that one.
Definitely some Blue Thunder and Airwolf vibes. I'm sure that was
For
popular
sure.
when those came out. I remember the tugboat. That was a bath time favorite for a while.
Mhm.
They made that like years and years. You could always find that. Yeah, I kind of figured Ed would enjoy these.
Yeah,
These are definitely...
Ed was one of the first people to like comment when I posted the thumbnail. So yeah, I figured as much.
Yep.
Oh,
the ambulance set with the stickers, that would have been great for Cannonball Run.
Yeah. What was his Captain Chaos?
Captain Chaos, yes.
Tom DeLuise, right? You turn into Captain Chaos, yeah. Fall
And
Guy truck for sure, man.
And the gremlin there, the Wayne and Garth, very, very nice.
Yes. Wheelcheck Slab is a great seller, man, and you can find some really good stuff there. Yeah, always happy to get stuff from them. The F-15 was a sweet, dude. That thing was great because unlike the Sky Striker or the Rattler or the Dragonfly had all those missiles and stuff, like you would be afraid to take that out in your yard and and mess with it with your friends. But that F-15, man, I take two of them and just throwing them to each other, like for
right. Launch them like lawn darts.
Yeah. You can have a lot of fun.
The patented Fisher Price beer and steer, that was definitely something classic.
Yeah, these guys just had
straight arm stuff.
This is their pose. Yeah, they're just cheap guys. They're not doing anything fun.
So definitely a lot of people remember those, the helicopters and the Jeeps, very popular.
Yeah. So that's, and then that leads us to the thing was not last week, the week before. So 2 weeks ago, Badger did a Sunday Fun Day, and if you aren't checking out Badger's channel, go check out Epic Badger because he does some nice little Sunday Fun Day shows where we discuss various topics. But he was asking people their favorite starfighter, and I was at work, so I kind of like looked at it, and I was thinking about like my favorite starfighter toys. So then obviously you're thinking X-Wing, TIE Fighter, all the Star Wars stuff. But I was like, and I think the chat was kind of answering. Every time I thought of a ship, I already looked and someone else already answered it. And I was like, what was a really good starship, that I had when I was a kid? And I didn't think of it, and it didn't make it in his show or anything because we were just talking about fictional ones, but it was the Gay Toys Laser Force starship.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I loved that toy when I was a kid. And I have a kind of a corny, sentimental story about this. It was given to me by my late Uncle Kenneth. And Ken was like a special guy. He suffered severe epilepsy his entire life, so he may have a epileptic fit, and lose consciousness at any time. So it was always fun hanging out with him. But he went to the store one Christmas and bought me this set. It came with the ship and the little tank vehicle that goes with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was like two or three different ones in the Laser Force.
And not to like put anyone down, but I was probably about 10 years old. So that means my brothers were like 15 and maybe like 13 or something at the time. Anyway, the package says Gay Toys right on it. He kind of overheard them like teasing me about my gay toys, and anyway, he got a little upset about it, and I always felt bad for him, because he struggled throughout life, and I was really just impressed that he went and bought me something. He thought of me and got me a present. So I set out to make this the kind of like coolest toy in my collection, because I was like in defiance of my brothers. I was like, no, it's not a gay toy. It's an awesome toy, So just so you can see, like, this is pretty cool. It's got a cockpit up the front, right? And then the back, the pilot or the gunner sits backwards in it. Has this rotating gun at the top here. And then it's supposed to have 2 side-mounted laser cannons that I'll show you the eBay listing. I did not pick up because they were broken off. But anyway, thanks, Uncle Ken. He passed actually just last week, was the anniversary of his passing 9 years ago. I still miss him to this day. Later on in life, he wound up living with us as a family member, and, had a lot of good memories with him. So when I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can find one of these. So I did. Laser Force. Here we go. So this is cool. I found this ad somewhere. So you could see some of the different variations they had. They had different color canopies, as you could see. This one has red or orange. The ones I had as a kid were the blue versions, which you could see here.
And again, really, those would just randomly change from season to season too. You never knew what you were going to get in the store.
They would, but it was a nice box set, and it came with 2 figures. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at this. So I know my uncle didn't spend much on it, but yeah. So the 2-pack must have been $6 or $8 or something, right?
I really like these because I wanted a generic space toy that wasn't tied to Star Wars or something else, where I could just kind of do my own thing. They were perfect for that. They really tried to make something with this. This was kind of a different direction for them as far as
and definitely, and it was actually a little bigger than I thought it was. Because look, here's one where you get the space tank or the vehicle with a boat and a boat trailer, space boat. Who the hell thought of that? I never knew they had that, so I never knew that existed. Did anyone in the chat have the space boat set, or was that, it could have been?
That one was more rare. And I remember they did one other vehicle that was kind of like a bigger truck that was hard to find. These 2 you'd find everywhere, but the other ones were a little rougher to find.
This is the exact great ideas that I got on that Christmas. I was like 10 years old, but you could see right there emblazoned on the package, it's Gay Toys Inc. So for 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, giggle giggle. But I thought it was a cool vehicle. So that's one. This one's really sharp. I found this one on eBay. Clear canopy, red cannons with red skin. I like that. That's a really nice color scheme. I never saw that one before.
I really like the reverse, seat for the gunner. Very similar to the Snope speeder, which was popular at that time too.
I don't know if you can see it, and this model is a little dirty, but I think Scott was asking, you could see that the color, it's like silver, and there is like a glittery kind of finish on there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Does it come through on the camera? But it's
not
so
much,
silver.
but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was like a metallic flake in the plastic.
It does. Yeah, it has like a kind of a sparkle to it, So, but yeah, so that example, that was really nice. Like I said, I always had the blue one. I think I had a friend who had the red one later on, or the orange one, but I never saw this red one before. So cool. This thing, I never saw this either. This one is a little different than this truck, and this one is so cool because you got that APC, look, little bench there. They're sitting in there. You get those twin cannons mounted on top and a little, pilot seat. I love this vehicle. I don't have this one, so I'm definitely thinking about picking one of these up. That's cool.
Yeah, they're really neat.
So yeah, this is the set that this is the set I just bid on and purchased. And if you notice, I'm not saying that the person misrepresented the vehicles, but I overlooked that the guns were not on the sides, right? but you can see in the picture that it's kind of like in shadow, like
Right.
the
That was
sides.
probably one of the things that were the first to go. But fortunately, if
this
you
is
have
where-
at least if you have at least one example, you can probably 3D print and just
Yeah.
reverse it for the other
Well,
side and make your own.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying they got me. So anyway, this was listed at like $30, and I was kind of like, plus shipping, right? But I got one of those things where they sent me a special offer, 50% off. So I just bought it, and I had looked at a bunch of them, so I didn't scrutinize the pictures again when I was like at work, and it was like, accept this offer now before it goes away, 50% off, and I went, hell yeah, because that's like not even like $15 each for these shipped, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy that for sure. The gun thing I'm not really upset about or anything, because what I did realize is the gun is the same on the land vehicle and on the ship. It's the same
Right.
gun. And what I did was just what you were just saying there. So I found an example online. This is before it came in, and I was able to extract the one gun that was on the ship. I did it by eye with no measurements, but I made one in Tinkercad, and I approximated it. It didn't. It's not perfect, and I realized that when I printed it out, because I printed it out and it came out. And here I'll show you the one that this is the set that I printed. Let me bring it up. It's a little small, and you can see they're gray. I haven't colored them or anything. So this is the original. Let me show you
Definitely
this one.
proof of concept.
Yeah, definitely good proof of concept. So here's the original, and I just eyeballed it. So I think I did all right for eyeballing it, but it doesn't come out as far as this one would. It would come out like a little farther there. Anyway, still did pretty good for eyeballing it. I was waiting for them to arrive. They arrived just yesterday. So, I attached them. They attached. So I got the little circle correct, just estimating it. And with a little bit of paint, these could look pretty good. And so I'm going to revise it, and I'm going to, tune it up a little bit, make them a little better. Obviously, anyone have any pointers on it?
Another neat thing with these, because they are very basic construction but have a cool design, if you wanted to try to recreate these using a 3D printer, I don't think it'd be that hard, because you're looking at just a few basic pieces. And
I think the clear canopies are a problem, but if you wanted to do like an armored canopy, maybe with just like slots in it or something, like make it look like plate steel or something, you could do that easily. It'd look really cool. So I made one. I had to go, you know what? One gun on the side of the ship, that's not enough. Let me do a triple gun. So I, in the 3D modeling software, I tripled it. I have not printed this version yet, but I think I need 3 cannons on each side of my jet. So I'm going to finally, with a ruler, measure this one and get the correct measurements for it so it fits perfectly. And, and also get this thing printed up, So once I get it resized and printed up, I'll be sharing pictures of that. And
cool.
If you're in the market for a Laser Force vehicle and it doesn't have the guns, have no fear. I've got you covered. So there you go. So yeah, I thought that came out pretty cool. I just duplicated and rotated the guns and just attached them again. But I think it looks pretty good. It fits the statics.
Very cool. Yep. Ed's saying he did have the silver sparkle plastic on his neighbor had that jet, used it for his Wonder Woman. Very cool.
Nice. So you know what? I'm going to tell you what my scenario was, and because I was such an original kid. I know this does not look like it, but the movie Firefox with Clint Eastwood from the 80s, where he goes into Soviet Russia and he has to steal the experimental plane. Well, this was the experimental plane, and both my Cobra and G.I. Joe operatives were kind of competing for it, So I had my special 2-man team, and that was the scenario that I would play out most of the time. 3 cannons.
Joji's a little worried about you there, Will. He's wondering.
Maybe I am.
The duck foot laser cannon. Yeah, it's kind of got that. There you go.
Yeah, that's the little tab where it goes into the side of the thing. So maybe just a huge cannon. You know what though? Once I get this connector figured out, right? The sky's really the limit. I could put missiles, I could put laser cannons, I could put just a radar dish or just something else on there and
Yeah.
swap them out. You know what I mean? So there's different different things. The other thing I was going to mention about the Laser Force vehicle, which had, you know, the opening canopy and you could fit 2 figures inside. It also came with this very interesting back. Let me actually do this. But yeah, it was just hollow on the inside. So you could put your bits in there. You could put guys in there, no problem, you know?
I'd totally forgotten it had like a little storage. bay
Yeah,
in
so
there.
here's like a G.I. Joe guy, you know, you could fit him in there. I mean, it's not,
Might have
there's no
a challenge
seat.
getting them back out, but
yeah, there's no seat or anything, but you could probably fit 3 or 4 figures inside there.
yeah. Or maybe
And
that's your
I don't know
your
if you can
prisoner
tell.
carry.
They did put some sculpt into that, so you could see that there's some
Yeah.
details, you know? I thought they were fantastic, though. I really like this line.
You could definitely have a lot of fun customizing.
Yeah, so, you know, Firefox was my go-to movie back in the day. We had a copy on VHS, and I just watched it all the time. Mostly the end, when the jet starts going. The rest of it's a kind of a drag. I don't know if you ever seen the movie, but
Yeah, I like the movie. Yeah, Micronauts and Laser Force, definitely. That's a good combo.
and I don't know who made these to credit them, because this was just like when you hit Google and you do an image search, these 2 images just popped up. So I just want to show you the potential of these vehicles with 2 absolutely amazing customs that were just kind of in the little thumbnail range. And when I clicked on it, like it said the site couldn't be found and stuff. So I don't know where they were, but look at this, man. Someone
Nice.
hooked one of these up and made this cool Cobra custom. That is nice, right?
Yeah, definitely
that's the
shows
same
you the
vehicle.
potential. Yeah,
That is this vehicle, guys. And look how sharp that looks, man. And that's what I was thinking, some kind of mounted cannons for the back. Because you don't want to lose that little compartment. You know, I was thinking of putting a cannon or a weapon in there, but I'm like, you know what? Do I really want to lose that part? That's kind of cool. But yeah, it looks like he just went ahead and put them right up on the sides of that. That is really nice.
I was thinking
whoever made it, congratulate. I wish I could credit you, because I couldn't find the credit on there. So
right. I was gonna say, if you're a fan of the old Mega Force movie, you could definitely do a Mega Force vehicle with this. Really, pretty
these
easy.
definitely fit in with that. And then this next one is going to blow you away. It blew me away, guys. Look at this, because one, it's near and dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite kind of toy lines I discovered as an adult. This Red Shadows version. Look at this.
Very cool. That totally fits.
Right? And it looks like they made like a custom top for the back, the cargo area. Whoever did this did a fabulous job. That's really nice. That's an alternate vehicle. But yeah, the Red Shadows, the Palatoy Action Force stuff has been like, you know, kind of the most interesting thing I've come across as an adult. I love that stuff. I'm looking for it. I want to get the, you know, the SAS stuff, the Z Force stuff, and all the Red Shadows vehicles. That thing is really cool. So also, I don't know who made this, so I'm sorry. I apologize if, you know, this is your custom. I just want to say it's awesome, and I'm happy to give you credit. So we have anyone in chat? Anything we missed while we were talking about that? Because that's a lot of stuff we covered there.
I think a lot of folks are very familiar with these from childhood, seeing them in the stores, playing with them in the sandbox or the beach or the back creek. They are very cool. And
Yeah.
I guess
I had a
Chap Mei
gay
is
old time.
kind of the newest version of that, where they're doing
It is.
generic
It's
stuff.
very much so, you know. And what I'll say about these, while the it seems the plastic quality for these kind of cars and stuff was not as sturdy as maybe some of the stuff Chap Mei is putting out. This type of plastic seems more brittle. Like their stuff seems
Mhm.
more. But one thing I noticed about the newer value toys is, especially vehicles, they do like fire trucks, military vehicles. Have you noticed they're all very narrow?
Mhm.
They're not wide enough. They're very narrow. They'll do like a garbage truck, but it'll be like half the width of this, where you can fit like one driver in it. So like they do that as like a cost saving measure, but it kind of annoys me. I even saw, I think, a video someone did where they took two like big helicopters, like the Chinook, and they
Yeah.
cut them in half,
To
added
make it.
filler to make it wide enough. They took the right half and the left half from two different copter, or they slice it down the middle, spread it out, took a bunch of like styrene, glued it in, sanded it, did a lot of paint job. It was a lot of work, but they were able to then pull like a vamp Jeep right up into the cargo area of the
Nice.
helicopter. But yeah, they definitely squish them, like, so they look big in the package when you go to the store, but if you look, there's not much depth there,
Right.
uh,
It may have to do with tooling costs and whatnot too, but yeah.
sure. And I think that's the difference. You know what I mean? Where these were kind of made kind of bigger, but with a thinner, cheaper plastic. I kind of think I could overcome that easier than I can with these like two-dimensional vehicles. I call them 2D cars, where they're kind of flat, like so yeah, so that's it for the gay toys, guys. I hope you had a gay old time. Just like and that you were amazed, because I did promise amazement, and I found some of these amazing. They're too narrow
Well,
to
made of
fit on the
cardboard makes
shelf.
a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they were made narrow so they would fit better on the shelf for
Mhm.
retail. So that makes sense.
Could be, yeah. So they could fit more product on the shelves. That makes sense. I think it's just so because it looks full this way. You get it home, you take it out, and you go, oh, it's a kid's
Yeah, that
toy.
was
Just
one thing that always bugged me was whether you watch the cartoons or you watch the 1989 Batman movie, Batmobile's supposed to be a two-seater. And for a
yeah.
lot of toy lines, they kept giving us a one-seater Batman forever. It's like, come
Mhm.
on, man. Where's Robin going to sit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one cares. They're just trying to
No.
get a buck. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and so thanks, Epic Badger, for sparking that kind of train of thought that led to this moment, because got me reminiscing about my good old uncle and the fun times watching Firefox and Kmart. Just great times, man. So what else do we got here? Chap Mei. All right, guys, you want to talk some Chap Mei? So the Chap Mei Acid versus Beta, they just released the second issue of their comic book, Acid Chapter 2. Morphosaur Rising just came out. Just like the first comic, it's a short comic. It's short and to the point. It briefly explains the story of the product, and it helps kind of as a prompt. It's not. I did see people critiquing these, and once again, I'm like, this is a kid's comic, guys. This is like the comics we got with toys weren't that fleshed out,
Right.
or
It's just
the
a way to
fault.
promote the brand and
And
show
it's
some
free,
ideas.
and it's digital.
Yeah.
It's online. You just go to their website and you read the thing. So, do I have could I see anything on there? Andrew, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. It's good. It does the job. It explains what morphosaurs are. These vehicles
Right.
transform. Why do they transform? Well, they explain it in a comic. The AI beta bots are able to self-replicate, and also kind of so they create the morphosaurs. So they capture a bot. The thing tries to escape. It turns a vehicle into like an escape vehicle, and it runs away. They shut that thing down. They use that same technology, that nanotechnology, whatever it is, to make their own transforming vehicles to help battle back the
It's
beasts.
a very cool premise, and it explains why the heroes and villains have very similar tech, because it is the same tech. Outer Multiverse was asking if there's any chance we might see these Chap Meis before the end of the year.
I don't think so. And like I said, that was the official, whoever the correspondence I had with Chap Mei in that in that email I sent them, they did say 2024. So I stopped looking for them when I heard that, in a couple slides though, we're going to take a look here because I don't know if Frontline's still in the chat, but Frontline, awesome guy. He runs the Chap Mei versus Acid, the Acid versus Beta fans and collectors group over on Facebook. You should go join it. If you want to know more about this line, if you're interested in it, go give them a follow, join the group, super friendly, tons of great information, and that's coming in worldwide. So, and I hope they don't mind that I shared a couple of pictures here. But this guy, Attila Norbert, and I can't pronounce the first part of his name, but he recently found the Morphosaur canine bot at a store there in Europe and just shared a couple pictures. So thank you so much, Attila, for sharing those pictures and giving us a brief view. He posted a bunch of excellent photos of this thing. I only have a couple because I want you to, if you're interested, go follow it, go like his post, and give him that. But he did show, he showed this, that you could combine the beta bots with the Morphosaur vehicle and kind of create like a
Centaur bot.
Yeah, like a Centaur bot. But he did, I might have left it out. Hold on. Nope, it's right here. But he did give a good couple pictures just so you can see how nicely done these bots are.
Yeah.
Look at the articulation on that and the posing. That's really good. And I think he said this set with the robot and the walker about $5. That's at least worth
great.
$10. So if it's 10 or less, I think it's a great deal. So,
and that's a really sweet spot where it's affordable for kids, but yet it still has a cool enough factor that it would work for older collectors if they want to add something to what they're already collecting. Scott was asking about the Final Faction book, and I think Goji answered it.
It is canceled. Yeah, the Final Faction is
unfortunately
done after the first issue.
Yeah, it was just too expensive for them to produce.
I thought they were going to do maybe a digital version of the remaining episodes or issues, and no, not happening. So
Jeremy mentioned that Sam's Club has a big battle wagon right now, so I'm not sure.
So that's the one that that's Chap Mei. It's the Soldier Force version. I have it right over here. I could go.
Oh, okay. It's the one. The scout plane attaches on top. That's right.
We covered that a little bit ago. So that was really cool. So thank you, Frontline. Guys, if you're interested in Chap Mei and you're on Facebook, go follow the Chap Mei thing. It's a great club, a little place to talk and chat. Really awesome stuff.
Just to clarify with Fat Red Foo, I think it's just the comic they're not doing. They're still putting toys out.
Yeah. Just the comic. In Jeremy, I think we've shown pictures maybe last week, but I have shown them. It looks really nice. As a matter of fact, let me see if give me 1 second here, okay? I'm going to do something.
Might have an image handy. Yeah, Goji's saying that as far as we know, there hasn't been any announcements on Final Factor for anything new in the line, but they're still out there. But definitely there won't be a second issue of the comic. It just wasn't worth it for them to try to produce that. But the Final Faction stuff is really great for kit bashing. Those are very cool. And just some neat stuff that you can add to pretty much any 118 line that you're into. So I would have to say, looking at these, I think the Chap Mei is going to have slightly better articulation and be in the same kind of price range as what Final Faction's been putting out. So it'll be interesting. New toy product of Final Faction was confirmed for 2024, but you never know. I mean, hopefully that'll come out. But they've put quite a lot out. And they've done a couple of different variants in different colors too.
Future. A terrible war destroyed the planet. Two factions and their armies are about to fight the final battle. Choose your side and discover all the robots and highly detailed vehicles with powerful weapons and Morphosaur transformability to create the most epic battle ever. Become a part of the battle and defeat the infected androids with a new Acid Team set from Chap Mei.
Oh, did that work? Sorry.
It did.
Yeah, I kind of messed up. Oh, yeah. I just thought that would just give everyone a good. I love that commercial anyway. I could play it
So
all
it's
day.
Chap Mei has a YouTube channel, or that's just a fan?
Yeah,
that
so
posted
that was the one. They did release a 40-second commercial on their YouTube channel, which has more information. They also named that spider tank. It's called the Spida Cannon. It's SPIDA Cannon. Yeah, Spida Cannon.
So it's got street cred.
Yeah. Spida Cannon. Yeah, it looks awesome. But yeah, that's some cool stuff. There's links to the commercial in the description below if you want to check it out after, or just check out the Chap Mei page. But yeah, all the stuff looks really neat.
I like the idea of the hover pack bike combo thing. That's going to be fun.
It's pretty good. The ATV, the kind of quad walker is a little weird, but you know, it might be cool. I like that. And Josiah, yeah, did you? Wow.
Right.
Toys that kids could play with? What a concept. Yeah.
Sadly, that's becoming more of a novel concept these days.
Yeah. So up next, if you guys haven't seen this, I saw this because of It's Chad. He did a nice little post, and then I went and took a look there. He's been following a lot of that Hiya Toys G.I. Joe stuff. So Hiya Toys announces a 4-inch exquisite miniature Major Sebastian Blood. I gotta say, for a 4-inch figure, this thing looks freaking sweet, man.
A lot of good detail.
Yeah. He looks awesome. He's probably one of the best looking classified figures too. And, you know, I think these are based off the same similar designs. But yeah, there's some, it just looks freaking wicked, man. I love him. Even if you're not a G.I. Joe fan, he would fit in any like sci-fi kind of universe as well. Let's see. He looks expensive, Ian was saying. I think they're doing $20 on these. I could be wrong, but
I don't remember the price point.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're going for. But I think if they're not 20, they might be 25, which is on the higher end for a 4-inch figure, but it's really nice.
Yeah,
so
definitely more affordable than some of the Joy Toy stuff and similar paint apps and articulation.
Yeah. So we got some O-ring updates for this week. That is that the Zica or Zica Toys Retros Kickstarter is live. You could go follow that now. This is a Kickstarter for 6 figures, 6 O-ring figures. You've got the Fist. These are the ones that come from Don Minart. I think they're called Invincible Toys. They're doing a 6-inch line. These are classic O-ring construction kind of homage figures to that line where you get Mad Dog, the Fish Trooper. These two awesome orcs, man. This is what got me in it. I'm like, dude, 3 3/4 inch O-ring orcs, sign me up. These guys are awesome. And then their Pocket People, which has the Mercenary and the Hamilton's Invaders, which we covered last week. But the Kickstarter is live. Goes on for another like 27 days. Get in on it, man. It's like I think it's like $150 for 6 figures, or you could even get just the 2 you like. Totally affordable, pretty nice. And here's a fun little tip though for you. There is a link in the description of this video for the Zica Toys Kickstarter. And then if you go to zicatoys.com and you want to know what these O-rings are like, you could go buy this Riot versus Eagle Force Riot Commando Trooper, which is a O-ring figure that these are going to be based on. This was like the prototype. $15, guys. You could go buy one. And they even do like a bulk discount. If you buy like 10 or more, you get them for like $12 each. I've got 2 of these. I'm pretty sure BETARAYBOB has a couple of these as well. But you can go to Zica Toys right now. Go to ZicaToys.com. You could buy this, dude, $15 for a sweet O-ring figure, and this will show you the quality that they're producing. Very nice figures. So go over there and pick these up, man. And they fit in with any scenario too. These are great little army builders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Link
Absolutely.
in the description. Yeah, go check it out. So as you know, Delta 17 from Toy Connections has put out some really great videos on these. And just last week, he put out one, the top video here, O-ring character breakdown. Robert, how are you? He includes Delta 17, the Retros line, and the Kickstarter, as well as some other ones. And he really does it in a way that's really enjoyable. So go watch his channel and go check that out. His Delta 17 heroes and villains videos also break down the Delta 17 line, which is being shipped to the North America continent as we speak. It's on a ship on its way over here. So go check that out if you're interested, and follow them at delta17.com. Toy Habits also did a nice article with a breakdown of all the characters as well. They are working on a comic book, but I did hear that I don't think it's going to be out before the figures come out, which just happened because some of the people are, Steve is in the middle of a move and there's some other things going on, but they're working on that. And it looks like Bob did get the O-ring Riot Trooper. The swivel wrists are game changers for the O-ring figures. Helps them hold their weapons so much better. Yes, I was surprised at the quality of them. I do think I got them a little cheaper than that, but still, at 15, they're a good deal. Community contributions. Not too much more to go, guys. We're almost done with the show. But, I love when you guys send me stuff in. Love including it in the show. This week, we got a nice little community contribution. Not in the same sense that we usually have, but GOJITRON. I say it all the time. I stole this from someone else. They said it. And it goes like this. If you're not watching GOJITRON, you're wrong. That's the saying. And I agree wholeheartedly with it. Because
he does find the coolest stuff.
Yeah. From his thrift box to Monster Bots versus Battle Beasts here, and Battle Beasts, his last video. And then his last round of rapid reviews, which he hit a ton of figures, even some I've never heard of before, in one short video. He covered this. That's the Aquaman. I can't argue with that. Yeah. He covered the Aquaman's Black Manta sub set that came out. So GOJITRON does a nice little breakdown of that. So if you're interested in what that looks like, I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch the video. And
there's a link.
There's a link in the description and a link in chat. So check that out. So the next little entry comes from the man who puts the boba in the BOBAJOSHOW over on Johnny Sorensen's channel, Mr. Boba Hicks. Sent me a couple nice little pictures. He went out shopping, and I think we were looking at this, or we were talking about this earlier, the Chinook.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he had to cut this in half. So it's a nice helicopter set. So he was just shopping over the weekend, and he saw that these are hitting stores again. These bigger box sets usually come around Christmas. And I mean, look, you get the huge helicopter plus like a little ATV vehicle, a little mini tank, and a patrol boat. Probably $30-$40. Not bad. And the big cargo plane too. This thing,
I like that
this
one.
thing is sweet, man.
And definitely some great custom fodder there.
Yep, and you get the rip-off or the knockoff Dino Hunter guys. These are the knockoff Jurassic Park guys. Dinos always make some kind of noise. You get a little vehicle, and it's got a little capture claw, and I think that's what he was showing me there, because we always talk about the little vehicles with the claws that come out and, grab the dinos. So, yeah, you see these at Ross sometimes, too. So, yeah, go check your stores because they're out. And then Chap Mei makes a giant pirate ship, man, and This thing looks freaking badass. And I know they made them years ago. I just have not seen these in stores.
So now
on this side.
your lonely peg leg pirate will have buddies if you pick
yeah,
up this set.
if I could pick up this set. So yeah, keep an eye out for this that ship somewhere out there. Maybe Big Lots would be the place to find that.
Between Halloween and Christmas is the time you'll start seeing, end caps and center aisle bits at Sam's and other places will have these kind of sets out.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Okay, so here's the thing. I'll take a quick poll. Does anyone want to hear me bitch about play sets for another 5 to 10 minutes, or should I just skip it? Because I could do it either way. So basically, we've covered on like the mothership. We talked about that, and like the whole notion that big play sets won't sell at stores. And if you followed my Instagram or you see it, I just went around Target and Walmart and I took pictures of all the huge play sets that I see. I know they're not for, boys action figures, so to speak, but okay. Screw it.
Yep.
2 people said to bitch about it. So let's go bitch about it. And it's not really bitching about it, but it's just like, it's one of those things like, if you had the Maury Povich meme where it says like, you say that big play sets don't sell at stores or there's no shelf space for them. The lie detector has determined that that's a lie because, okay, first off, there's this one. And if you're trying to tell me that there's not the same amount of tooling in this giant 3-foot tall Batman that turns into a giant bat cave with an elevator, a vehicle ramp, computers, other little gizmos and gadgets there, right? And they were selling this thing at $100. There's got to be just as much tooling in this thing as the Corpse Rocks playset or whatever. And this thing's not $500 because there's no nostalgia tax.
This is Spin Master.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Gabby's Dollhouse is not the same as our beloved, cool retro 80s toy lines, but this thing is also 24 inches tall, right? Stands 2 feet tall. It's got this little working gizmo here that does something. You drop a snack in there and it slides down and dispenses it. It's got a cat evader instead of an elevator. So, there's some tooling right there, right? I don't know. That thing, how much was this? $50, right? I'm just saying, even if you doubled the price for nostalgia, right? You can't do a G.I. Joe base or a Star Wars Death Star that's 24 inches tall that opens up and has some kind of features in it or some kind of display ability. Let's see. Bluey. I don't know who he is, but $75 you could get a 30-inch wide, 17-inch tall house. That takes up the same footprint as a Cobra mothership, I think, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
it can
an alien,
be done.
Yeah, to an alien who doesn't know the difference between G.I. Joe and Bluey, it's 2 big chunks of plastic with some details to it. Same thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's no difference. Well, that represents and I understand that they can produce them in smaller numbers because it's more of a niche audience, right? And Bluey is a 2 to 4 year old's dream right now because they're on TV and everything. So they could get some kind of discount. But I'm saying, even if you double the prices just for the nostalgia tax, they're quadrupling them. This is like astronomically higher. It doesn't make sense. Is this true? This is a Masters of the Universe Origins playset Snake Mountain with 2 figures, Snake and Wolf Head, Dungeon, and Skeletor Throne on Amazon for $80. Is that right? Because this is like, if you're just saying there's not a 1-for-1 comparison here, this fits 5.5 inch scale Origins figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. What's the excuse? This is $80. What's the excuse? I don't, is this thing tiny? It's not for Mega Blocks, right? This is for Origins figures. I don't know the difference. The 5.5 inch scale figures, Origins were big. They were like Motu size. Here's a Motu sized playset for $80. If you laid this thing down on its side, how is that different than a Cobra mothership? Okay, so I am insinuating that the big toy companies are possibly fleecing adult collectors with their pricing of big ticket items from Gen X properties. Yeah, and I guess whatever. I saw. Yeah, I guess I should shut up. I shouldn't have included this in the show. It doesn't really have to do with 1/18 scale stuff, other than like, you know, the other things. I'm just saying, like, here's a wrestling Stone Cold Austin monster truck. It does have weird proportions, but it is a 1/12 scale vehicle, and it's $49. That those stickers on the shelf are not right. Here, I know this is Barbie, so this is not the same thing, but here's a nice giant beach house or whatever. Here's a Hot Wheels playset, the ultimate garage with a working elevator, ramps, all this other crazy stuff. And this thing is not even $50. Or maybe it's more. I don't know.
It could definitely be done. There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's an underserved part of the toy collecting community. We're not getting the kind of stuff for display and you know, those kind of play sets that we could be saying.
And I don't even know who it was that said they can't make them. It could have been someone who just said that. I don't know if companies said that or what. I've heard that the consensus is big box vehicles or figures don't sell. Why not? I mean, and you know, furthermore, I also just don't think that, you know, I get the crowdfunding method for people like Zica Toys or Call Sign Longbow or Operation Recall that want to get these things done, or even, you know, Street Humans or the Cyberzoic guys. They are not multi-billion-dollar companies that could fund this thing themselves. They need that to achieve their dream. They're trying to achieve a dream and make something happen. And if enough people crowdfund it, you know, they get a crowd of people. You know, Hasbro and Mattel, they could put these products out and they could do a pre-sale to, you know, to do it. I just wonder if, like, right now we have the Ant-Man thing going on, the Cobra mothership going on. Does that compete with the people who are trying to run Kickstarters to get, like, you know, kind of these grassroots toy companies off the ground? You know, are they competing now with the big companies? And it just doesn't seem right, because they're doing things like making kind of like these dream projects come true. They're really cool niche things. And I don't know. I don't really.
We should definitely give a shout out to our buddy It's Chad. He recently did a how-to on his Cobra missile command that he took one of these other. Yeah, he took a Chap Mei type play set and converted it to make a missile command with
$20.
Yeah, it was awesome. So it can be done.
$20. He had some bits and pieces in his leftovers and buckets. So yeah, you can't build one for $20, but you could build something cool. You know what I mean? Using that as a base. But yeah, any hate for me because I had an opinion? I hope not. So,
no, I agree with Goji. We're kind of on the same page. If you don't want to do a giant play set, do small play sets that can combine to make a big one, where you just buy the individual pieces and plug them together. That's a no-brainer.
I would love that. Yeah. And they could stop at any time. So if they find that they're not making money on these things, I feel like right now, if they put it out, people would buy it. Like, I don't think, you know, and as far as like Star Wars specifically, they just abandoned vehicles and play sets. And that was a big part of Star Wars to make it. Like,
I use a lot of, you know, cardboard and things to do playset backgrounds or environments for display, and that works. But I would love to have stuff that is an actual printed environment, you know, that's in 3D that could work for, you know, enhancing a display, so that you've got not just the figures, but, you know, an environment that they fit in. So, yeah.
You can make it much cheaper out of cardboard.
It's true.
So it does have everything to do with 1/18 scale. The 1/18 scale is made for world building. You can't world build without playsets and vehicles. 100% correct. I think that's what's killing the Star Wars 1/18 scale toy line, because these figures come out and they're charging $20 or even up to $22 if it's a special. I'm sorry, no, deluxe 4-inch figures are like $27 at Target now, and
It's
it's
getting
just
up there.
ridiculous. Yeah, and if they wanted that, yeah, I heard the Mattel and wait, no, ML
Marvel
and,
Legends.
Marvel
Marvel
Legends,
Legends and Star Wars.
and they can't
Yeah.
say it in live streams. Yeah,
Right. I mean,
Uh,
they've put out a couple of anemic play sets in the last few years. They kind of half-hearted it. The Staircase to Nowhere and some of the other goofy stuff that they did, and then now we're not getting anything at all from
Yeah.
these guys. So hopefully somebody out there will
Oh,
find
thanks.
a way to make something that
sounds
is
like something
compatible.
that the Puru would say. I think I know what he's
Oh
talking
yeah,
about. Smaller module play sets that combine. Yeah. Chad's video was freaking awesome. Yeah, totally
it
rad.
really was.
As a kid, how many times did we show off an X-Wing fighter? Off of his tank to grandma and grandpa. Now the grandparents know the IPs. The kid may have, a Luke X-Wing pilot, but no X-Wing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's the point of having a pilot or driver without the
Yeah,
vehicle?
they did. I think in the last couple of seasons, series, they did release pilots, and it's like, hello.
Yeah.
Hasbro, it's the taste my soup thing. The joke from that Eddie Murphy tells at the end of was it Coming to America, where he's like, taste my soup, and the waiter's like, do you have a spoon? And he goes, aha. Yeah, that's the whole point. He doesn't have a spoon. I got a pilot, but I'm in the ship. There's no ship. Aha. So yeah. Hasbro and Mattel have online retail stores, so the shelf space argument is null. As a matter of fact, they could even say this is not coming out till next year, but we're going to make it if 200 people pre-order it. That's fine. That's the same thing, really, as the crowdfund thing. You know what I mean? But just put it out there. We're adults. We don't need cheese dangled in front of our faces to make us do this thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like the stretch goal and that thing. Stretch goals were like to entice someone to invest in a startup. You know what I mean? And make something new that didn't exist before. This is like stuff that existed before that we're just remaking. But we're going to just tease you with these things and play little games. And to me, it just seems like it's very off-putting for me. If you love it, that's fine. I have no problem with you personally. I just don't think the company should be doing that. Yeah. If it's a good product, people will buy it, no matter if it's a Hasbro or a startup. Exactly. Do mini play sets like my mermaid home. Yeah, I love that mermaid home. That's not bad. Probably be better for the Aquaman stuff than the Aquaman stuff that's coming out. That might be a spoiler. Frontline, what's up, man? I recently found the Kid Connection set at a thrift store for $4. Hey, you know what? I love Goodwill for that because, people buy these kids presents. The kid gets bored of them. They donate it to Goodwill. We get it for $2. I got a whole bunch of Imaginext sets and stuff like that for $2. They're in my garage. I eventually want to cut them up and use them as custom fodder. The chat just jumped on me. Where was I? Largo. Love the Halloween display behind you. Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Very cool. Yeah.
That'll be coming up in our Halloween special with Goji. We'll be talking about some of those.
Nice. And Goji, thank you so much. If anyone wants to hate me, they got to go through Carl. And no one can hate Carl.
That's right.
Yeah.
No.
So kind of wish there were highly articulated regular people for background figs in 119, not war, sci-fi, just regular people, all shapes and sizes. That is true. I really wish they would do that. And I think that's where the future with 3D printing kind of comes in. You know what I mean? Because I've been watching a lot of 1/18 scale, the diecast car. People make a lot of dioramas and stuff for those, so they're pretty cool. But they do a lot of 1/18 scale. They might be a little too short. I think true 1/18 scale is a little shorter or a little taller than what we get in action figure form. But they do a lot of static posed, just pedestrians and things like that for your scenery. So you may want to look into that. But if you had a 3D printer, you could probably find models like that and give them limited articulation very easily. But yeah, modular building streets for epic heroes would be sick. Galactic Slime Lord, you're right. That would be sick. I would love to see that, man. And as a matter of fact, some companies have done that in the past where they just use like the cardboard packaging as like a backdrop. They print it on there. It makes so much sense.
There's a
Cardboard, you
Japanese
said?
company. There's a
Oh.
Japanese company that makes these. It's just
Oh, let me
3
make you
panels
big.
that
Let me
clip
make it
together.
big. How do I do that? Make it big.
That button right there.
I want to see that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Very cool.
these are they're kind. They have it's printed right on the plastic. So you have a base and then 2 sides. This one's kind of a war-torn street. They're kind of made for some of the Japanese figures that are out there. I use it for some of the toy photography I do with 1/12, but it could definitely work for 1/18 because it's kind of a generic scale.
Yeah. And those are under 20 or?
Yeah, for most of them, I find them on Big Bad, and Hobby Link Japan sells them. And
Yeah. I like
20
that.
to-
That's pretty cool.
excuse me, some of them are a little overpriced, but the concept is good. And they're
Yeah,
very
it would be
durable.
nice if you could take something like that where you could drop slides in and like change the background scenery or something. Yeah, I know it doesn't really blend with the wraparound, but if you were to do buildings or something, that would be kind of cool, especially for photography. Not so much, for even not if not for play, for photography. 1/18 scale is for scene building, 1/148 for world building. Yeah, we get it bad.
Yeah.
Will, we are just building our backgrounds ourselves. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of people just are because it's kind of created this vacuum where there's no play sets, there's no things. So yeah, we're just making them ourselves. Jeff,
I do was going to say, I do remember Travis mentioning this is something he'd like to work towards once he gets Hexastack off the ground. Maybe adding
That's
some
right.
other enhancements for
modular kind of background pieces and stuff. Yeah. So what was Jeff saying there? I sometimes go to Hobby Lobby and buy dollhouse furniture and customize it for what I want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They make some really terrific stuff over in Hobby Lobby. I'm always blown away. Batman is successful because Batman is nothing without Batmobile or Batcave. True. I mean, they do it. Hey, I got 2 of those his tanks for $12.99. If they had more, I probably would have bought more of them because that's a sweet deal for his tank. Mission Fleet, so I could get vehicles and ships for Star Wars. Hey, yeah, Epic Badger. Well, he just loves that scale, but yeah, definitely. That's the only scale they're doing them in. Hey, you got the hiss too. Nice. All right. Good. I wish they had more. Some people told me that they had stacks of those up to the ceiling. When I went to my Ollie's, they just had 2. So it's weird, Hasbro released a classified Copperhead with no water moccasin. That's right. They did do that, but they made a Fortnite boat that was huge.
Right. And Cover Girl with no Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever.
Oh, nice. They've got Mission Fleet at Ollie's, so go check that out, guys. Luckily, Takara Tomy shares Transformers with Hasbro. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't get any of the Titan class figures. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Robert saying the other thing about crowdfunds is they usually lead to a retail product. HasLabs and Mattel do not. That is correct. That is a one-shot deal. It's a big FOMO thing, and and then you create this division in the community because there's people that don't want a second mortgage on a toy. They just want to be able to buy the damn thing. They're looking to make 1/12 scale mask figures with no vehicles. Mask is all about the transforming vehicles. It's not about the figures. Stupid. It sounds like Super 7 is about to do that as well. Kinda. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that some people, like, that's their dream come true, and that's great. But, not everyone is playing at your big boy $500 per toy game. I'm sorry. The majority of people don't want to be into collecting like that. I think it's turning into like I don't know, just not great. I don't think it's great. So a little crosstalk there. Bruder has 1/18 scale modern civilians. Jeremy, that's correct. They do. And I love the little picture in your thumbnail there. That's awesome. They have Ahsoka, some ships to do. Leonard did a big, what is this? Leonard did a bunch of regular folks around 2000, 2009 police fire. Yeah, but you know what? They're kind of expensive. If you look up those civilian characters, they're kind of expensive. No Ollie's near me, only Raw. So sad. Well, hey, Jeff, you should get with some of these guys have more than one Ollie's around them. I have one and it's about a half an hour away, so I don't get there too often. But if you were looking for anything particular and you want to hit me up on Instagram, if I don't go to one regularly, I know some people that shop at them much more often, but I'm sure there's someone in the toy community that could get you a good deal and ship it over to you. We do that stuff all the time. Been a long day, great night. Have a great show. Ian, thank you so much for hanging out. We're almost done here. We're just wrapping up the chat, and then we're going to take off. Yep, that's right. They are. They're addicted to IPs. If it's not something, if it's not rehashing something. Nice stuff. BETARAYBOB wanted to know what the brand name was on those diorama pieces you had there.
I think I have a package here. Let me see if I can grab one. I'll let you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll go through some other chats while we're waiting to get an answer on that question. And you know, you could always go to World Made of Cardboard's video and make 1/18 scale alien and you know, human kind of bases based on his plans, which are absolutely free. You could just download. All you need is a printer. Extreme Sets. I think that's the I think that is the name. Extreme Sets. It could be. Bill, how are you? Saying yeah. Ross, lots of and Bruder does have a fun YouTube channel. Yeah, they do. They really do. They have the great little there's another one too, and there's a guy, he does 1/18 scale like world building with all 1/18 scale RC vehicles. I really wish I knew the name of the channel. It is so awesome. I'm subscribed to him and I watch it, but he builds roads with 1/18 scale like construction vehicles, RC construction vehicles and stuff. It's such a cool cool thing. Ted, what's happening, brother? How are you? We're getting ready to wrap up here. Largo is going to look for the thing, and I'm just trying to find out this thing. It is. I'm going to look at my subscriptions real quick and see if I can't find it, because it is such a cool channel, and it is.
I'll have to let you guys know next week because, you know, as is typical, I would have it in hand. I just had it here at my desk just a day or two ago.
Was it called? Someone said it in chat. They said that there was one Extreme Sets. Is it called Extreme Sets?
No, Extreme Sets is
okay.
Folding cardboard sets, which are also good, a little spendy, but they also make those in 1/18 and 1/12 scale, the Extreme Sets. This is I believe a Chinese company that makes these. I know they have them on Big Bad. Like I said, I'll find out, and next week I'll put that information up there. But if you go to the Big Bad website and just look up dioramas, they'll pop up. You'll see them.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, we had a couple of latecomers like Bill and Ted Darklaw showed up. So
hey,
just a hi to them. But yeah, we're wrapping up the show now. So if you had any questions, guys, thank you so much for the feedback and hanging out with us today. I thought it was a really fun trip down memory lane. Definitely had some cool experiences. If you have any great experiences with your, your Laser Force or any of those products from Gay Toys Inc. or American Plastic Manufacturing Company, as they're known as now, leave a comment. Let us know, guys. I thought they were real fun. I'm going to continue working on my refurbishing of this guy. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with the stickers, but I'm definitely going to hook it up with those guns. And that might be a video sometime in the future if anyone's interested. But yeah, we'll leave it at this. We did grow up in the greatest time for toys. That's absolutely right. And with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. I'm looking for the exit, trying to find my escape plan. Get out of here. There it is. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim. Was there anything you wanted to shout out or talk about before we left? Or
don't forget about Hella Dope tonight.
Hella Dope tonight? When is the GOJITRON video going to air?
Either the night before or Halloween night. That will be up
Okay.
on the website. So it's coming.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great night.